Purpose. I tell people all the time that you were created on purpose for a purpose. You know, it might have surprised your parents that you showed up here, but you were no surprise to God. He already had your life in his heart. So take some time today, spend some time with your Father. Make sure you seek him for what your purpose is. And I promise you that the thing you're looking for in the universe is already inside of you. The gift of life and purpose, God has already put inside of you. And let me tell you, the best days that you live in your life will be those days where, number one, you're in God's will. Number two, living your purpose that he put you here for. I'm so excited about today's show. Today is a continuation of my Young, Gifted, and Black series, and I got some amazing people to introduce you to. And I want to mention, first of all, my guest co-host for today, Miss Deborah Granville. She's in the co-hosting chair today. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Because I sent
happy
you
to be here.
all the bios, so
Yes.
you know, some really beautiful and amazing
Yes.
young people here,
Yes.
right? I'm so excited to introduce you to our first guest. It's Brejia. Brejia Monique, welcome to the show. Beauty mogul, multi-talented hairstylist, and braid specialist. I am a serial entrepreneur as a makeup artist, braid instructor, and overall businesswoman. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I obtained my business management degree from Savannah State University in December of 2013. You're also a proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. We'll stop there. Welcome to the show. So, I always want to mention how I met someone, Michael Dreamer, who is another. He's a part of the family now too. We've adopted him on the Boss Show as well, and he introduced me to not only you but some amazing other young people that are here as well. But let's start the braiding. Let's start there, and we'll advance to everything else. How did you start braiding hair?
I started braiding when I was 12 years old, and I was basically watching my mom braid me and my sister's hair, and all of a sudden I was like, I want my hair how I want it. So I started practicing on myself. And then to get more practice, I actually started begging the neighborhood kids to practice on them. I was like, let me do your hair so I could practice. So from then, I just kept practicing and got better and better. And now I'm to the point where I've been connected with so many people just from my talent of braiding, like different celebrities and different people, you know, as far as my clients. And now I'm actually teaching braiding.
Yes.
So I have about 13 years of experience and just been keeping it going.
I love that because you took a skill that you had and you turned it into a business. So many times people miss that. You know, I often say every one of us has a business inside of us. You might not have identified what it is yet, but once you do, you can take that skill and turn it into a business. But what I love even more is now you are training other entrepreneurs. Tell us about your Braid Like a Boss Academy.
Braid Like a Boss Academy is a hands-on experience where I teach my talent, my skills of braiding. It's very hands-on in the way that I teach. I basically customize my teaching ability for whatever level that my students are at. It's an intimate, only accept about 10 max students, and it's very fun. When I first started, I wasn't freaking out, but I was like, how am I going to teach people how to braid? It seemed like it's so hard, but it just, after a while, it just became natural. And it's people that fly out from Mississippi, Nashville, Tennessee. One of my first students, she came from New Orleans. Wow. So it's definitely growing and just looking to see how far it can go.
So what made you decide to go from just being, I guess, an entrepreneur yourself to teaching other young people how they could be an entrepreneur as well?
I just looked back at my life. I only had one specific job at Burger King when I was in high school. And I just noticed how I was able to maintain what I had going on, just support myself. And I see a lot of people that are in dead-end jobs. They're unhappy and stuff like that. And my braid class is an opportunity for them to just basically live their life how they want to live it, become their own boss. So it's really, really interesting to see how it impacts them and how I can, change whatever they're doing and make it better for their life.
I love it. I do. Deborah, you have anything?
Just going over your bio, You want to talk about some of the magazines that you've been featured on and some of the shows that you've been featured on?
My work has been featured in She Magazine, Hotlanta Magazine, the cover of Rolling Out Magazine, and I've worked with people from Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. I've worked with Duchess from Black Ink, even though she has dreads, but I styled her hair, had an opportunity to work with her. I've even worked with Honey Boo Boo.
Really? Tell us about that. Right. That's so unexpected.
Actually, I was at the salon. I was at my publicist at the time. She had the collab she had them come in, and actually we were working on a back to school drive, and she told me that she wanted her hair done, but at first she was acting. It was hot that day, so she was kind of irritated. So her mom was like, "Yeah, she want her hair done," and then she was like, "No, I don't want my hair done." So after a while, she came around, and she was just really interested. I started doing her hair, and she was just basically telling me like where she lived, and she was actually about to turn 8 years old, and she would not talk to anybody else. Like she was, and I actually asked her, I was like, why you won't talk to anybody? She was like, I don't talk to strangers. And I was like, oh, okay. But she was really funny. It was cool working with Honey Boo Boo.
Wow. So what's your ultimate goal for your business?
Well, I have multiple businesses. I do hair, I do makeup, I sell hair. I just had opened a new hairline. And aside from my braiding classes.
Mention your hairline. Where can they get your hair? I mean, everything. You are here. Tell them everything you got going on and how they can get to it.
Is Easy Beautify Extensions is basically a continuance of my brand. You can find the best 100% beautiful hair. I sell deep wave. Actually, this is some deep wave that I have in my hair. Wow. My second time wearing it. But I try to find the best for my clients and really be a one-stop shop for my clients to where they don't have to go anywhere else. So that's the main theme of my brand, to be a one-stop shop and to just have different streams of income and stuff like that, and be able to inspire other people to do the same thing.
I was just going to say you are a serial entrepreneur, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to that multiple streams of income, because that's something we need to continue to talk about. How important, and you tell us to the other young people who are listening, how important is it to have multiple streams of income?
It's definitely important because you might do something that's like in demand for a season, and then the next season come, you don't want to kind of look like what I'm going to do. So you think about different things that you can do. It doesn't have to be pertaining to your main talent, but luckily I have been able to have different streams of income that revolves around beauty and business, things that I actually represent, things that I actually care for, and then everything else is it's just been different opportunities for me, and I just try not to limit myself, and that's the biggest thing, because aside from my business, I have my personal brand. And in that, I dance. I like to dance. Getting started with my YouTube channel, stuff like that. So I just try not to limit myself. It was times where I was like, "Oh, I don't do this, I don't do that," but I ended up making a song one day, and I plan on recording it just because. And there's so many people that try to tell you, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Just stick with this, just stick with that." And it's like I shouldn't, limit myself and block my blessings and opportunities. You never know what I can do. So it's kind of like I'm just doing some of everything, and I love it. Just being able to be versatile.
I love it. You got something else?
I love it too. Do you also, I'm looking at, I told you when you first sat down, you're beautiful to me.
Thank you.
Do you also teach makeup?
It has been a lot of people asking about.
It could have brows are serious.
Yes,
the brows are too real.
Definitely.
You just threw those on.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely, whatever I am able to teach people, I will. I know there was a point where people was like, they won't teach, what they know. Nobody wants to. At a time, nobody wanted to give knowledge about what they knew about. But now it's different. It's a different era.
Yes.
And I definitely care more about somebody else being able to be self-efficient in whatever it is, makeup, hair, business. And I also been gearing towards life coaching. And I feel like that may be my my main purpose, my passion, actually helping people get to where they want to be. I'm not perfect, but I have enough knowledge to, guide someone else. So I actually have a few people, mentees that I work with, helping them with branding and marketing and business development and stuff like that. So.
You're right in line with what I was getting ready to say, because I was going to say, add to that motivational speaking and workshops where you talk about being young and having multiple business and multiple streams of income, and then you get the opportunity to show them everything that you're doing, because there's definitely a market out there for that. I'm talking about corporate and everywhere else. They're looking for speakers who can not just talk about it, but you've actually done it. You can demonstrate it as well. So that's all I got to say about that. That's my word to you. Add that to your resume. All right. Travel. We got to talk about this before you go. You just told us about an amazing trip you get ready to take. Tell us about the trip.
I was invited, maybe like in August. I was invited by my friend. It's her birthday, and we're going to Paris, Spain, and London. And the funny thing is, I actually had it on my vision board like 2 years ago. So it's important. I actually made another vision board, but it's important to get visions of what you want to do. Yes. Be able to see it and foresee it and put it in tuition. So we're going to Paris.
And when you're leaving?
And I'm actually leaving Wednesday.
Now,
so I've been working my butt off like before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be gone for 10 days. That's a long time.
Well, I wanted to mention that, number one, because I always say it's important to travel as much as you can when you can, especially when you're younger and you don't have as many responsibilities, but don't let that stop you either. At least go to somewhere new, one new place a year. But something you said there was an extra ticket that was available for someone to go with you guys, and tell them what happened.
It was supposed to be 4 of us going. I invited a friend, but she couldn't go. So I'm calling people and
free ticket, right?
Yeah, it's a free ticket. It's a free ticket. It's either a free ticket or you pay like $500, but we paid, a good amount for somebody to just come in on it, and nobody had the passport or they had to work or
So the lesson for today is, number one, if you don't have a passport, get a passport. Now,
one of the guests up there said, I got mine.
Yes, everybody should have one. I always say, go ahead and be ready so you don't have to get ready. Right. I had a mentor of mine tell me once, she said, you plan on speaking around the world? I said, yeah. She said, do you have a passport? And at the time I did, she said, do you have a backpack? So if somebody calls you today, you can get on the plane tomorrow. And I didn't. She said, then you're not ready to go yet. Okay, I'm gonna get ready right now then. But that's the lesson to everyone. Get ready. You don't know what opportunities will present themselves, like a free trip, and you're not even ready to go. And the other thing was, you can't get off your job. When you work for yourself, you make your own schedule, and you can go when you want to go. All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine and my guest co-host,
Deborah Granville,
here on the continuation of the Young, Gifted, and Black show on the Regina Sunshine Show. And we have our second guest for today. Her name is Miss LaToya Rose. And just a little bit about her, because there's a lot in this bio. And the first part is a lot. I'm going to read it, because I think people need to know where you came from to know why it's phenomenal that you are where you are. LaToya Rose was born by the river near Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. At the tender age of 5, she discovered her entrepreneurial spirit after experiencing sexual assaults at the hands of a family member and other authoritative figures at local recreation centers. At odds with the reality, her innocent life was shifted. She responded by requesting 2 easy bake ovens as a Christmas gift, which her single mother, Mama Rose, Mama Rose, obliged. LaToya Rose continued to excel in leadership, the fine arts, and academics, all while enduring unfortunate trauma, homelessness, and poverty. And I'm going to pause there, because I want her to tell you about where she is now, because that's where you came from, baby. Tell them where you are now. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, where I am at this point in my life, I am full-time entrepreneur. I actually became a best-selling author September the 30th. Well, September 29th. Thank you. And then I quit my job the next day, packed up the car, and I was like, you know what? I can do this. And at this point, I am the CEO of my company, and we promote global economic justice. I'm a multipreneur, so I also help people self-publish their books, but make a business out of it, because it's very important to move forward past just publishing the story.
Yes.
I also have a tax company in which by December 31st, 2017, so if you're interested, please let me know. I am going to have a minimum of 60 people working from home, educating people and preparing taxes. And I think that that's a very, very important piece of wealth generation, because if you are unsure of how to apply the tax law and make it work for you, then you'll steady be kind of struggling and just thinking like, oh, I'm just waiting around for a tax refund, instead of really kind of operating and functioning each day so that it actually makes sense.
Yes.
What else do? I do so much.
You really do.
I have
you
a professional
host.
speaker.
Yes. You host.
I MC
yes.
Events, from award shows to charity and fundraisers. And I'm really excited about that part of my life, because I'm very animated and I do have a story and I'm very personable and approachable. So that part I really enjoy the most. Yes. And then I have a tour that's coming up. I'm on a 17-city tour now. It's the Biz Information Tour, in which I'm helping individuals transition full-time into entrepreneurship, or to just get better in their journey. And then in June, we're starting another tour. It's called Black Wall Street Reloaded, in which we're going into the communities around the United States, helping Black entrepreneurs understand what that looks like with keeping your money in the community and then building up from there. So that's where I am at this point.
Girl, I love it. You are such a beautiful overcoming story, and I love every minute of it. Because we go back from, how you started to where you are now, and how I met you. I met you across the street at Preach the Profits, Entrepreneurs of Color magazine mixer, and you were the host that day. And I was like, I think we connected immediately, because we left there, we walked over here, we hung out for hours. After. So I just so enjoy your spirit. And then when you go back and you read where you came from, I love it, because there are people who have been in those places that need to know you don't have to stay there, that you can overcome, you can get out of those things. And a big part of your story is the fact that you're an entrepreneur. So talk to us about how important entrepreneurship is.
Well, honestly, when you wake up and you go to work and you are there working on someone else's dream, and then you get off work and you go home and it's just the same mundane routine, you start to feel like, why am I still here? Like, this cannot be my life, and that's it. And it's not, and for me, entrepreneurship is very, very important. It has always been. I observed it when I was a child. My dad, he retired from the post office, but while he was working at the post office, he was a bail bondsman. My dad always taught me that you have to have a hustle. Your 9 to 5, your paycheck, that takes care of your lifestyle currently, but your hustle, that's what really keeps you going. That's what helps you take vacations and make sure you have a passport on deck, by the way, things like that. So yeah, if you think about it, we are all talented in some way or the other. So I teach people how to discover that genius and then monetize upon it. I don't care if you know how to wash dishes real good, and can't nobody wash dishes better than you. Make money doing that. For me and my best friend, after the Easy Bake Ovens, me and my best friend during Christmas time, for our church members, we would pick greens and clean chitlins and do the whole 9 yards and get paid to do those things. You have people who, before home health care was a big deal, you have somebody who's sick and shut in the church.
Yeah, sick and shut in.
And then you get the church to pay you a little something to go over there and clean and do light duty. So in anything you can make money. And I think that's something for me that I've always known, is that I can make money. Now, being in business and being an entrepreneur, being self-employed, and then being the business, those are all different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned that through my journey. And I think that that's an important piece of it. Once you kind of learn what stage you're in, and then just embrace that stage, but continue moving forward till you get to the point that you're the business. Where people are like, are you hiring? That's the stage you want to be in.
Well, you mentioned it already. My next question was about, how do you help someone discover and monetize their genius?
See, here's the deal. Everyone has something that at night it wakes them up. If you're talking to someone without a textbook, without being prompted, you just click into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times, because there's so much that's going on in our life, we forget about the fact that we have something that nobody else can do it like we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So really helping someone shift their mindset around, you're worthy, you're unique, you have something to offer this world. People are waiting for you. it doesn't matter that it's not necessarily original. The people who need to activate with your gifts and talents will activate with your gifts and talents. You just have to step forward. So really helping them with the mindset shift and then just embracing their God-given birthright and purpose. And then from there, you have to do the money mindset shifting, because a lot of people don't know how to talk about money. That's why many of them are divorced and, they're really sad and depressed because they don't know how to manage it. So then you have to work on even that with what does it look like to price it?
All right, you guys, you are back live on the air with Regina Sunshine and my guest co-host,
Deborah Granville,
here on the Young, Gifted, and Black series on the Regina Sunshine Show. And we have our next amazing young person to introduce you to. Her name is Venomiss, and she came in from Garner, North Carolina. Y'all give her a hand.
Yes. We drove all the way in from North Carolina.
That's
6 hours. Yeah,
I love that. I know people are committed when they're willing to get in their car and come here and do this. And you said you were supposed to be coming with Spitz.
Yeah, shout out to Spitz. I was supposed to come with him. It wasn't gonna work out, so I contacted the show see if I could come on.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm a female MC. I'm originally from Orange, New Jersey. I currently live in Raleigh, North Carolina, so I kind of go back and forth up and down the East Coast. I've performed all the way down in New Orleans, all the way up to Boston, up and down the East Coast, traveling. So yeah, this is what I do full time, is my music.
Well, please tell me how you ended up in Garner, North Carolina, because I know where that is, and I know how small it is.
Yes. My mother moved to take care of my grandfather.
Okay.
So I came down because my mother couldn't set the VCR time. And I just got stuck. I kid you not. She's like, I can't get it. It's flashing. I don't know what to do. I was like, all right, okay, I'm on my way. And I've been there ever since. It's peaceful, though. North Carolina's peaceful. So, yeah, so it's cool. It's my second home.
See, my baby sister's in Cary.
Okay, yeah.
So I know all about that. I went to school at A&T, and, she went to Central back there.
Okay.
And we going to have that A&T Central conversation. I know you go around the corner.
Oh, I saw that look.
Yeah, we Aggie Pride, that's what we do over here. That's what we do over here. So music, how did you get started in music?
I started when I was about 12 years old. My cousins, when I was younger, I came up in the Queen Latifah and the Naughty by Nature era. So I saw them when I was a very, very tiny kid shoot those videos. All those Naughty by Nature videos on the roof of my mother's job. Like, I remember being there and getting T-shirts and candy and all kind of stuff. And I was like, man, this is so cool. You're a little kid. I want to do this. They got candy. So, it just started with that. My cousin had a deal. It wasn't the best deal. It was a shoddy deal. Shout out to Damien, my cousin. I tell the story all the time. It was the worst deal ever. It was so terrible, but it just got me into it, going to studios and watching videos, and hip hop was just a big part of my life. They used to dress me up and make me stand on a table and do the songs for like extra food. They'd be like, you want another peanut butter and jelly? So all right, we'll do this song. So they would dress me up and I'd have a hat on and I'd be up there like, gotta watch out, gotta get a roughneck, just doing whatever they wanted me to do. And so it just kind of stuck with me. And his sisters had deals. One was in a Salt and Pepper type of group. One was in like a Wu-Tang Clan type of group. So I've been around it my whole life. So
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the whole bad deal thing, because I think sometimes young people see stars or whatever, and they don't even care what the contract say. They just sign their name. So talk to us talk to our young people about how important it is, if you're going to do something, to get a lawyer or someone to look over this paperwork for you.
It's so important. Read everything and then have somebody who's professional read it. It's not just about what you understand. There may be loopholes in the contract. There may be stuff in the contract that doesn't make sense. I'm signed to Federal District Records. Shout out to my label. I made sure somebody looked through it and I made sure I understood it clearly before I signed anything. Like, you just have to make sure what you're signing makes sense, because sometimes it's stuff in there that just doesn't make sense, and it may not even be bad intention. It may be just that the person doesn't understand business enough to write a legitimate contract. So just make sure you involve the right people with your contract signing, because you could jam yourself up for a long period of time like that. So
all kinds of great tips on this show.
Yes.
I mean, and I have to say, because I was offered a television show, that the verbal offer was amazing. I could be able to hire all my family, you name it. When we got to that piece of paper, it didn't read the same. Yeah, my lawyer was like, I can't have you sign that. And I was crying. I was like, but I want it. And she was like, baby, no, you can't do that. And, it was interesting. Written in the contract was like my logos and things like that. If they were altered for television or anything, then they would own them.
Yes.
Little things like that. And you've got to alter them, for different technology. Little things. They would have owned me and everything I already owned.
Yeah.
So, yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. So, music, what is your ultimate goal with your music?
My ultimate goal with music is basically to be everywhere. be everywhere, do everything. I've done a little bit of radio hosting. I'm actually starting to host a TV show out in Raleigh, so that's dope. I'm so excited. I'm going to
Tell us about your show.
It's going to be a top 25 countdown. I know, I'm so excited. Like I said, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get to do something. Yeah, so I'm like a big kid. I'm going to start hosting a top 25 countdown show. That's going to be dope. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to air on television twice a week. I've like I said, I've done a little bit of radio hosting. I love performing, so anywhere there's a stage, I'm like, oh, can I get up here? Okay, great. And I just do. But yeah, my goal is to be the next it girl. I've been making strides towards it. I won 4 awards last year, 19 times nominated. So yeah,
that's what's up. Well, if you need some guests, whatever in that area, let me know. I'll send them to your show.
Please do.
It's good connections.
Yes.
Anything, Deborah?
I was just about to ask you to speak on your awards that you have won. And
I'm so proud of them. Like I am. You know why I'm proud of my awards? I got told when I was doing music younger, when I was 19, and this is a very important tip for females. Do it this way, look this way, do that, put this on. Okay, but stand like this, but look sexy, but do this, but oh no, but you gotta be cute. Put this hand, no, never mind, don't do that. And and it was confusing because I was young. I was like 19. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all, you tell me too many things. And I took 6 years off. I had a daughter. I took 6 years off, and I came back because everybody's like, where's your album? Where's your album? I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my album. So I recorded the album, and I did it my way. Yeah. I did what I wanted to do.
Right. You got to stay true to yourself.
I did it the way that mattered to me and the way that made sense to me. I did it where it was still able to give a good message, but also be danceable and fun and upbeat. But there's still a message in there. And I got nominated across the country 19 times. I've won 2 Album of the Year awards. I'm the first female to win both of those awards, 2 different award shows. First female to win Album of the Year. Wow. And I won Best Collaboration and Best Female Rapper. So yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up because I was at an event this weekend, The Beauty Within, run by the Positive Arts Movement. Shout out to them. But they have a play they do called Rimshot Urban Musical, and it's about the trappings of the music industry and how girls are often asked to do things they aren't comfortable with, that that they wouldn't normally do because this will get
you there. Yeah. I mean, I hear the stories, and even me now, I kind of mentor a lot of girls. Like, girls come to me and they're like, did you have to do this? Did you do that? Did you? And I tell them, like, no. Don't do it if you're not comfortable with it. You stop yourself. If it doesn't feel morally right to you and it doesn't feel like where you would go in your own comfortableness, then don't do it. And that's just the bottom line. I mean, I've had people say like, oh, well, so-and-so did this and then you're not gonna get anywhere if you don't do it. I said, well, I guess I'm not getting anywhere then. Oh, well, we're just gonna sit right here. How you doing today? Like you just have to draw the line sometimes. And that's not to say that everybody has bad intentions, because there are a lot of people who are giving you sound advice, but you got to let yourself sit and marinate on that advice before you take it. Give yourself a couple days before you decide if you're gonna do it. You know?
Absolutely. I can see you as well. I mean, have you done some motivational speaking, some public speaking? Because this conversation needs to be had, because there are so many young people that are getting in situations that aren't good for them because they think, well, so-and-so did it and it worked for them. But you don't know what that person's dealing with at home. You don't know what's really going on with them.
You don't know if they really did. You're just hearing that they did. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of that going on too. But I have done a little bit of motivational speaking. I worked with a nonprofit organization for a little while, mentoring young girls. My mother was a social worker for 18 years, so it just comes naturally for me to just kind of care for people. So
I can see that. I can see some workshops, especially here in Atlanta, this being, the new Hollywood or whatever, for all these young people that are looking to kind of say, you know what, here's some guide points to go by for sure.
Yeah, I would love to speak to them, because we get put in these compromising situations all the time, more so than men. There's a lot of things that just get done that are a little shady sometimes, and and like I said, not everybody has bad intentions, but it's very difficult as a female to start learning who does and who doesn't.
Yes.
And that's the key, and that's what the key to my success now is just paying attention to the minor details.
You're so right, because the whole point of that play, Rimshot Urban Musical, is number one, Atlanta is the hub for human trafficking. A lot of people don't know that. Number one hub in the United States for human trafficking. And a lot of things happen within the entertainment industry here. Oh, I'm a photographer. Come meet me,
model
take
scout.
some pictures. And then a girl ends up somewhere, that she didn't know she was going to go. And she don't know how she got there. So these conversations are good.
I've been in situations like that, though. I have a homegirl. She used to model, and she got me this address. We were going for King Magazine. I'll never forget this. I was like 19, and we going. It's pouring rain right next sideways. We got these little outfits on. We're trying to get there. We're taking a train. We're in a sketchy neighborhood in the Bronx. I'm like, this is a neighborhood. This is not like a business. And she's like, no, we're going. We get there. It's an apartment address. I'm like, I'm not comfortable. This don't make no sense. We get there. All the lights is off. It's dark. I said, this ain't right. We got to go. And then come to find out the guy was completely sketchy. And it was, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
I'm so glad you trusted your gut.
Right. If I hadn't gone with her, she would have just kind of did whatever because she wanted to model. And I was like, nah, I don't trust you to go by yourself. Let me go with you. And so it's just little stuff like that. Run ideas by people because you never know. Somebody will tell you like that doesn't make any sense.
That's in your workshop. You know, I can see this workshop needs to be had for real. For real. I'm so excited to introduce you to this next guest because most of you have never met anybody like her. I promise you. I'm going to read like 2 or 3 sentences of her bio and then I'm going to stop because I told her just now, so you got to be real smart to read this bio. There's a lot of long words in here, but it's Sharmon Monagan. She has a PhD in conflict analysis and resolution. Her main area of expertise is international conflict with attention to political, gender, and racial conflicts. She's a trained mediator. And I want to stop there because your bio is off the charts in terms of what you do. And I've never met anybody that does the stuff that you do. So I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. First of all, thank you and Deborah for having me on. And thank you for Derek. Derek
Mitchell. Hi, Derek. Well, let's go back to the very beginning. A PhD in conflict analysis and resolution. Please tell us what that means.
Well, there's conflict everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't necessarily, people think about conflict in a negative way, but conflict could actually open an opportunity to create new conversations, to build bridges. So I try to look at conflict from a positive perspective. But we have interpersonal conflict, family conflict, we have workplace conflict. You know, we have political conflict. We're dealing with that now.
Yeah, which is going to be the midst of we getting ready to really get to that, aren't we?
And, you know, we have international conflict. We have gender conflict. So it's conflict in all different aspects of life. And so we have people that are conflict scholars in different areas to help walk people through it. And basically it's to give you better communication skills. Some arguments or disagreements we can get into and we can walk away. But a lot of times we have to coexist with people, you know, so we have to find a way to communicate effectively and maintain those relationships.
Awesome. And the main topic of our conversation today is your book. There's so much other stuff we could talk about. But we want to talk about your book today. The title of your book, Fascist Trump, How Donald Trump's Rhetoric is Jeopardizing U.S. National Security. And you wrote this book prior to him becoming president of the United States. Please tell us why you wrote this book.
Back in 2015, when he first started his campaign, I was like, something is wrong. This is so far out of the norm for regular presidential candidates, right? I mean, he's doing a lot of tweeting. We talked about that in the car. And your daughter mentioned the point that it resonated with young people. They were not surprised that he was elected because in their minds, all press is good press. Whereas with the older people, we're like, what is going on? This man is always on Twitter. He's going crazy.
You know, why would you elect someone like that?
Right. It seems unpresidential. But to them, that's their way of communicating. So it resonated with a lot of people, even though
that's a whole different perspective for me. When you said it, I didn't even think about that.
Right. And so I started writing it in 2015. I had actually, if I could go back a little bit, I had completed my doctorate. I moved to Puerto Rico and I started writing my book. And then in March, I came home to check on my dad, and my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And the next day, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
And so for me, finishing the book, I kept thinking, oh, I'm not going to do it. I have all this on my plate. And I had a friend that kept pushing me, no, you need to get this book out, especially the crazier he was and the things he was saying. She's like, you need to finish this book. And so at one point, I was like, okay, I'm going to finish the book, not so much to get it out, but just to prove that cancer didn't beat me.
Yes,
it was a personal accomplishment. Like, no, I'm not going to let cancer defeat me and define who I am. I'm a scholar. This is what I do. And so I finished the book. I didn't put it out because I just assumed that Hillary was going to win. Just like everybody, we assumed that Hillary was going to win. She had the fireworks ready, right? And so I stayed up all night. I kept saying, no, something's got to change. This is like a nightmare. I can't believe this is happening. And when he won, my friend said, girl, you better get this book out right now. I wrote a postscript the next day and I got the book out. Wow. And I've gotten so much positive feedback because people are like, I can't believe you wrote this stuff before the election was over. And now he's actually doing these things.
So what types of topics or things can we find in the book?
One of the main things, immigration. He's still talking about building the wall. He's stopping people at airports, even the people that have green cards and have legal authorization to get here, which is something new. He talked about rounding people up and, stopping people from coming, but we never thought that he would actually stop people that have a legal right to be in this country. That goes so far beyond anything we could have even comprehended. And one of the things with the recent court decision, I believe, that really infuriated the judges is because he said, my power and authority cannot be questioned. That's what his attorney said. And the judge was like, oh, yes, it can. We have 3 branches of government.
Checks and balances for a purpose.
We have checks and balances for a purpose. So that's one of the things. And also the Russian connection. That's very important because we've seemed to just gloss over the fact that we've had interference from a foreign enemy in our elections. And we've just kind of gone beyond that. So to me, it makes it seem like this was not a legitimate election, knowing that we had interference. So what are we going to do about it now? It's very little we can do to go back and redo the election. We're not going to hold another election. But what can we do to hold him accountable at this point and moving forward? And so that's kind of what I talk about in the postscript. The last chapter of the book is, what do we do moving forward?
So is there a part 2 to this book? Is there as he goes through the presidency, I guess, account?
There will have to be, because it's something with him every day.
Yes.
Joy Reid from MSNBC, she said every week of his or every day of his presidency seems like a hellish year. It seems like it's already been 4 years. It doesn't seem like it's only been 3 weeks, and it's been something every single day.
When you say that only 3 weeks,
right,
it doesn't,
right. Just think about he's written over 20. I think it's been over 20, orders in just these 3 weeks. But back when President Obama was in office, Republicans complained about it. Oh, he thinks he's a dictator because he's writing all of these executive orders, and he's written all of these orders just in 3 weeks.
Well, I think a lot of them that supported him are still going to be hurt and shocked, because I think some stuff that they think is going to go their way ain't going to go their way.
Right.
I think they're feeling it now.
Yeah, some of them are. I think even more of them are really going to be like, what, did this really just happen?
Right, because he's not looking out for poor and middle class people. He's looking out for his buddies, which are not most Americans. We were talking about that earlier today, how a lot of Republicans are showing up fighting like, you're taking my health care away. Right. And I'm like, where were you when he was saying it? He told you he was going to take your health care away. Why are you surprised now? And they're like, oh, I thought he was going to get rid of Obamacare, not this other stuff. Oh, Obamacare and ACA is the same thing. So we really have to, a lot of people talked about education today and educating people in different ways. We need to make sure we have an educated public. We need to make sure people are going out to vote. We're not going to wait until the next election in 4 years. We need to get people registered to vote now. We need to get people to go out and vote in the midterm elections. We need people to go out and vote in the local elections. Those are so important, because for whatever Trump can do, think about the things that happen at your local level. How many people are prosecuted with overly zealous, district attorneys and things like that. We've seen that here. So we really need to be proactive and not just sit back and continue to let him bombard us with everything.
Well, on the Ball Show, if you remember, Musa Lotala, who is a real estate developer here, he mentioned, and he said, number one, he said in Trump's economy, he said things are going to be written for business owners. He said, so if you don't have a business, go right now and start your business. Put yourself in line with everything he's getting ready to do so that your business can benefit. It's not going to benefit your job. You're going to have to be a business owner to be able to benefit. Yes, right now.
And I'll go even a step further. Steve Bannon said, I would like to change the laws where only landowners can vote.
Wow.
Only landowners can vote. So you need to get your business. You need to get your land.
Yes.
And people think that's so inaccessible, and it's not. It's very easy to purchase land. I don't care if you purchase 1 acre. If that's what they're going to change it to, we need to be proactive and ahead of the curve.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because across the board, I think we as a community have gotten away from ownership and land ownership for some reason. And I see this in families all the time. Somebody passes and you got a piece of family property and they sell it. Why?
Right.
Why keep it in the family? Yeah, keep it in the family. That's something I've never understood, but I think we need to get back to, owning land, owning property, especially in our communities, because everybody's coming in and buying up our land in our community, and we're just letting it happen.
Right.
Like it's no big deal, but it is.
And that goes back to the point that I believe her name's LaToya talked about earlier with generational wealth.
Yes.
Land ownership is one of the major things. Land ownership, and also with life insurance. Those are 2 different ways of generational wealth. So we have to think about those things and think about how he's planning to impact this country, but also making sure that we're making moves and maneuvering ourselves so that it doesn't have such a significant impact on us. And like I was talking to you about earlier today, even though this seems like it's very grim, I think a lot of good can come out of it, because a lot of coalitions can be built between people and bridges built between people that normally wouldn't work together, normally wouldn't stick up for each other. We see a lot of people joining together to march against it. So I think it's a good opportunity, from a conflict scholar perspective. Like I said, thinking about conflict in a positive way, it's a lot of good that can come out of it.
I'm so excited, first of all, because of who you are and what you do. First of all, let's say their names: Traci, Monae, and Maeko, Reale.
Yes.
I did it! And I met you guys because of Michael Dreamer. Shout out to Michael again, because he continues to introduce me to some amazing young people. First of all, we're going to talk about your organization, and then we'll have you guys talk about individual projects that you're working on. You guys have a young girls mentoring organization called All That She Is, founded and co-founded in September to inspire and uplift the minds of young women to walk in peace, love, and unity. Tell us why you started the organization.
Would you like to speak first? Yes. Well, we saw that there were a lack of love in certain females, and we just wanted to have a outreach, basically a place where females can go and be themselves, connect with other females, because a lot of females, they hate on each other, and we don't need to do all of that.
No.
We love each other, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Exactly. And to piggyback off what she said, me, myself, personally, I dealt with a lot of insecurities, a lot of not wanting to fully walk in who I was based off society. And so a lot of being able to, I guess, fix it, for lack of a better word, is to be able to find that self-love. And that, once you find that, it's like self-love and inner peace can take you literally feel like you're floating, like it's a natural high. So I definitely wanted to encourage other young women to feel that same thing, so they can be themselves, just freely be themselves.
I love it.
Influence future generations. So.
I love it, because we have the same heart in that regard.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the things you do with the young women that you work with.
We've done pancake socials in the past, where we go to Cracker Barrel. We sit in the morning for breakfast and just parlay, talk about different things. One topic we did was letting go of your ego, and how sometimes you have to even go through the ego to even be able to understand how to let it go. But once you let it go as a woman, as a person, let alone a woman, it can change your life. So definitely.
I love the sisterhood component, not just the actual sisterhood, but the love you're teaching young girls to have for each other, because those relationships will be very powerful in their lives.
No one's you. There is no one like you. You can't compete with what you can't compare with. And so, because they're literally not, that is such a simple statement, but it's so powerful.
I love that,
There's not one other person in this world like you. And so you could do the same thing. We all could do hair. We all could do makeup. But guess what? You don't do it like I do it. You don't speak how I speak. You can't teach how I teach. You can't touch certain people. They might not really feel your vibe, but they'll feel mine. And so with that understanding, there's no way we can't work together, because there's never any competition, because we all can eat, because we are all different. So
I love that. That's one of my favorite things about what you guys are doing. So moving forward with All That She Is, what are some of the goals for the future?
Goals for the future. I would like to
I would like to open up maybe a rec center for females to do different things with. We actually had an opportunity to collab with a clothing line, the New Atlanta, where we went to Carrie Steele Pitt's foster home. And actually, two of the young ladies I still talk to today, we actually connect and all of that good stuff too. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I know you guys have some other personal businesses and projects. So tell us about that. We'll start with you, Traci.
Well, let me start at the beginning a little bit real quick. I went to Gwyneth Mosby Makeup Academy at 15. I loved what I was doing. I was still in high school at the time. At 16, I dropped out, got my GED, and continued to move after that. The good thing about Gwyneth Mosby Makeup Academy is her graduates get emails from other people who need makeup artists. So I've had an opportunity to work with Bramer Leon Couture and his runway shows. Married to Medicine, Dr. Jackie, her cancer patients runway show. And I'm actually doing the Bronner Bros hair show this weekend. So yeah, great opportunities. I'm a professional makeup artist now, of course, and I recently became a mink eyelash extension specialist. So
yeah, they're beautiful.
Well. Yes, thank you.
Yes, they're beautiful.
Yeah, so Makeup by Eyes. I was taught by Makeup by Eyes, so yeah.
Awesome, Maeko. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so I started a few things on my personal page just to kind of another entity to all that she is, but me personally. And so I do Motivational Mindset Mondays every Monday morning at 10 a.m. And it's just, quick 60 seconds, all you can fit in Instagram. Quick 60 seconds just to inspire you, uplift you, kind of get your day going, just to remind you of things just as a person in general. And then Words of Knowledge Wednesdays. I'm a spoken word artist first. That's my baby. That's my love. Poetry is everything. I could do it in my sleep. And so Words of Knowledge Wednesdays is kind of, once again, to uplift you, but in a poetic way. So that's something that I got going on to piggyback off of all that she is.
Well, I'm kind of a spoken word groupie. And so since we're just happen to be live on the air, you have anything you want to do?
Oh, my goodness.
You want to think about it?
Let me try to freestyle.
Let's go, nigga. Let's do it,
Okay. I've never done it.
Look at Dad's face.
Here we are live on Instinct Radio. These beautiful young women have graced Regina Sunshine show. I thank them for allowing me to get the floor to speak, and I hope that everyone here has a fantastic rest of your week. Follow us, _ all that she is, to motivate and uplift young women and children, kids. Thank you guys really for giving me this time to share. And I don't really know too much where to go from there.
First time ever freestyling? Yeah. That's all right.
So yeah.
Well, that's good though. That goes back to what we said. Go ahead and be ready. You don't have to get ready. That's what's up. Well, you mentioned mindset, and I think we've heard that over and over again. How important is it to have a positive mindset when you're pursuing your dreams and goals?
When they were talking about it, it was, and then you really delved, and it was very, very crucial. That mind is everything. It's all you have. And so when you're able to focus and have a desire and a vision and a dream, there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you. Stay in your lane and know where you want to go, and there's nothing that can stop you. And like she said, I love the concept too. Don't be so in a rush to grow up. I'm grown. I'm always grown. I love that. I'm keep that with me forever. But don't be in a rush to grow up. If you have to get a little help, get a little assistance, and ask people, look, I'm struggling. Can you help me? Like, sometimes I'm having a rough day, and I know that you're really positive, so give me some words of advice. It's everything. So, yes, mindset is everything.
I love that. As you guys have worked with the young women you're working with, what are some of the biggest challenges that they're facing? What are some of the things they want to really talk to you guys about?
What goes on in their personal lives, like parent issues that they have. Not going to go into detail.
No, that's fine.
But parent issues, maybe feeling alone by themselves. So I try to incorporate anything I can to make them feel like they're not going through that. Yeah, so actually this weekend, I'm going to be teaching one of the ladies how to do her makeup. So she bought a whole bunch of makeup but has no idea how to use it. I'm a makeup artist. Let me go ahead and do that. Yeah. So, I can't wait.
That's a great way to bond, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to bond.
It is. kind of piggybacking off of what she said, is just that you're not alone. A lot of things that I dealt with, like coming into myself and understanding who I was, is that I'm the only one going through this. No one else feels how I feel. There's no way people can feel like this. And I had to learn as I got older, you have to be a little transparent. I was very much the person where everything's good, everything's good, everything's good, everything's good, like a broken record. And that wasn't the case. And people need to see sometimes that even though you're always positive, you're human. Yes. And you have moments where you feel kind of low, because that way they can relate to that. Right. And that way you can touch tons more people than you ever. I've touched so many more lives being real than I was. It's good. The sun is shining. It's good. The sun is shining. So that's definitely something that I would put out there.
I can identify with that. I did an event in Greenville, South Carolina. It was called a sneak peek, and it was all motivational speakers, and you had to talk about your biggest challenges. Yeah. And that was really interesting for people to hear the things that we face. And one of those things was loneliness. It's across the board a common thing. So often when you are on a mission, you're on a journey, and nobody else understands it, right? Nobody else in your life is on the same type of mission. There's a lonely part of it, but that's a part of it. Yeah, and when you accept that there are just parts of your life that are going to be lonely, it's going to be you and God, and that's going to be it, and it's okay, then you'll be okay. And I think that's something we do need to talk about, because people are going through that feeling and think, well, I'm the only one that feels like this. No, baby, we all have those moments.
And we all had them, went over them, and we're so successful. So they have to know that.
Absolutely. Deborah, I'm sorry.
Just listening to y'all and what you're trying to do with the young people, even as old women, older women, older women, we go through that where you don't like this person, and we need to learn how to, come as one and work together. Right. And which I think is great that you're doing with the young kids. And the part about feeling alone, or like my daughter was telling you, and I just feel so overwhelmed. Yeah. Baby, it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
You just got to do what you got to do, but you're gonna be okay.
Right. Exactly.
So I just think it's great what you're doing.
Thank you.
What you're doing. Well, I think I mentioned it before. I see a collaboration between us, because I do a workshop called A Real Sisterhood, where I talk to older women about female relationships. And I think it would be great to have a youth perspective. Yeah. You bring the women in, and so we can have a big conversation about why women feel the way they feel about other women. Yeah. And I did it in the Chamber of Commerce in South Carolina has a women's event, and I did it there. Corporate women that came in with their arms folded, and they weren't going. And we began to talk about why you feel this way. Man, they went there crying and going on. Wow. I wasn't the favorite sister. My sister was the pretty sister. It's so real in people's lives. They're still 20 years later carrying that thing
from your childhood.
Yes. And so now, because I feel bad because of a female relationship in my family, now I can't trust you. I can't trust you. I can't trust none of y'all, because this one woman in my life caused me so much pain. So we need to do that.
And that's a whole
talk about it. Yes.
Huge.
Yes.
Forgiveness is huge, but yeah.
I wanted to ask this question to the group, so I'm gonna give everybody an opportunity to answer. And this is it. It says, what word of encouragement would you give to other young, gifted, and Black people who are pursuing their dream or passion? I mean, it could be just, word of encouragement, a tip, a piece of advice, whatever you want to speak to the young people that are listening who, want to be like you guys out here pursuing their dreams and doing the things they love and following their passion. So we'll start with Venomiss on the end.
The word I want to use is, the word of advice I want to give is just remain ambitious. Don't ever lose sight of the bigger picture. Today may be a bad day, but tomorrow may be your breakthrough. And, I'm a walking testament of that. I did nothing for 6 years, and then I opened for KRS-One. So it's like, okay, hey. So
you didn't mix that up here. We need his
I know, I forgot that one. But what I'm saying is, just always go, because your break may be that next morning after you feel depressed. It may be the week after. It may be a month after, but it's coming. So remain ambitious and remain humble, and just focus on the bigger picture.
I love that. Thank you, Dr. Monagan.
Normally when I speak to my students, I always tell them that they are responsible for their own happiness.
Yes.
No one else is responsible for creating the life that you want. You have to create your own life how you want it. You're responsible for that, not your parents, your spouse, your siblings. You have to create the life that you want and be willing to put in the work for it.
Yes.
It's not just that you're sitting around hoping and wishing for it. You actually have to put in the work to create the life that you want.
I love that. Brejia?
Yes, I would say never stop learning. Yes. Never limit yourself, and just surround yourself with other positive people that think like you, so they can uplift you and you can uplift them and everybody wins.
I love it. It's all good.
That's
LaToya
good.
Rose.
So I have two pieces of advice. One, obedience is better than sacrifice. When you are meant for great things, you are going to have to sacrifice friendships, being able to go out and party, so many things, but being obedient to your purpose and your greatness in life is going to be very important. And the second thing I would say is to be okay with getting rid of some toxic relationships and things, mindsets and habits, because honestly it's going to hinder your progress if you try to hold on to it. So those would be my two things.
That's awesome. All right.
I have two. One is always be coachable. Just because you know something one way, there's always another way you can learn it.
That's good stuff. We should be writing this down somewhere.
And two, failure is a part of success. Actually, you can't be successful without failing. So yeah.
Awesome.
I was gonna say, the big thing to remember is that the average overnight success took at least 5 years, and that's being nice. I'm just saying the bare minimum. It took at least 5 years, and so if you keep that in mind, there's no way you can feel defeated too long, because okay, well, I ain't got 5 years on it yet.
I love that. We would have to go back to the live stream. And I'm going to ask each of you, whenever you get the chance, go to the live stream on my page for this link. And whatever your advice was, could you type it in the comments and put your name? Because I think people need to be able to go up and read that as well, because that was great information. Well, we thank you guys so much for being here. Continue to do what you're doing. I'm so impressed and inspired. I feel like I need to go do some more stuff now after meeting y'all. But that's the point. We should be able to, especially as women, encourage each other, inspire each other. I always say, just because she's shining doesn't mean I can't shine. We can both shine. We can light up the world together. So I'm just so thankful to have met you, and just keep doing what you're doing. Yes. All right, Deborah, any final words?
Nope, I'm just happy to be here. But like you say, y'all inspire me so much. Like you said, you ready to go out and do things? I'm ready to get started now. Okay, y'all inspire me so much because you're young, and look at you. Yeah, just continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you.
And you're removing excuses. I love that, because there's so many young people that think, well, I have to be a certain age or I have to do a certain thing. And what I see, everybody here is doing something different, but you're following your own individual gift and talents and ability. And you decide, I'm just going to do it, right? If I fail, I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to do it again. Get it right. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. And to our audience, I leave you with the words I always leave you with. Remember this. God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. You are worthy of the best things in life. Make sure you tune in next week, same time. And I leave you with my personal motto. I always say it's not over till I win. If I hadn't won yet, that just means it's not over. So I tell you, it's not over till you win. If you hadn't won yet, baby, that just means it's not over. Be blessed and keep winning. God loves you just the way you are. You are beautiful because you were created in love. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You have the seeds of greatness within you. You were born to live a victorious life. You are brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. You are worthy of the best things in life.